What's going on, everybody? This is Seahawks Today. I am your host, Will Ortner. And while the 49ers this morning got some really bad injury news, the Seattle Seahawks got some great injury news from a Seahawks insider earlier today. I'm going to tell you what that injury news was right freaking now. I don't want you to have to wait for it. Charles Cross, Coby Bryant. We get some really good news about both of these key Seahawks players. One, obviously, Cross being on the offensive side of the football, Coby Bryant being on the defensive side of the football. And it does look like both of them will be back in action on a Saturday. At least that is the plan so far early in the week. What does that mean for this team? I'll let you know in a moment. Right now, we are in a sub-battle with the 49ers report. Seahawks Today versus 49ers report. We're going to go all the way up to game day. Make sure that the Seahawks don't just win on the field. Make sure that they win in this video and this week as well here on Seahawks Today. Hit that sub button. We don't lose to the San Francisco 49ers no matter what the cost is. Right now, they're licking their wounds from that Week 18 matchup. Make sure that they don't beat us here on Chat Sports. Come on in, hit that sub button. We got you covered for any content that you could want or need around the Seattle Seahawks. Here's what ESPN's Brady Henderson had to say on kind of what Kyle Shanahan was trying to fight for early on. Shanahan obviously did not want this game to be on Saturday. Of course, the Seahawks want the game on Saturday because of the injury situation around the 49ers. They'd like an extra day, plus they have to go all the way across the country to get ready for this matchup. The Seahawks, they expect to get left tackle Charles Cross and safety Coby Bryant back for round 3 against the 49ers, two players that were unable to play in that first matchup. Shout out to Brady Henderson for that news. So, first, I want to make sure that we dive into what's going on with Charles Cross. I told you earlier last week that Cross was back at practice, and it does look like my prediction, my crystal ball prediction, was going to be and is going to be right, that Cross will be back and ready to go for this Seahawks squad. Now, how big of a deal is this? Cross has not played for the Seahawks since that matchup against the Indianapolis Colts. Cross obviously getting hurt on that final game-winning field goal for Jason Myers. This season, Cross has been absolutely fantastic, only allowing a couple sacks against him, while also opening up a lot of running holes for this Seahawks squad. And it was unfortunate because Seattle really lost him right before they went on this big run of really getting the run game fixed and figured out. Now, Josh Jones has started the last couple of games for the Seahawks, and he's actually done a fantastic job of stepping in for Charles Cross and really growing this Seahawks rushing attack. And he actually did a fairly decent job against the Rams, Panthers, and 49ers in making sure that he kept keeping Sam Darnold upright. No one's keeping Matthew Stafford upright. So I do want to make sure that I give Josh Jones his kudos because he played fantastic in a very difficult backup role in two games that were going to be huge for this Seahawks team. Now, when you look at the Seahawks offensive line, we get the complete picture of what this squad can be. For the first time in what feels like forever, basically since Jalen Sundell got hurt early on, we are going to get the full complement of what this offensive line can be. Cross, Zabel, Sundell, into Bradford, and into Lucas. It's at the perfect time, too, because this offensive line, since the middle point of the year, with Sundell missing some time, and then obviously there was a worry about Zabel, then Cross missing time, there was not a lot of time for this group to really gel, especially as play caller Clint Kubiak really kind of figured out what this offense was going to be. The Seahawks run game the last couple of weeks have been very nasty with Josh Jones over there at left tackle. I believe it will be even nastier with left tackle Charles Cross coming back into the fold, not because Jones isn't a good player, because Cross is that much of a better player than what Jones has been able to do this year. And again, it's the perfect time for Cross to come back because the running backs are starting to figure out what this offense can be. You saw in that Rams game Kenneth Walker find a way to go off and have a couple of big runs, eventually pushing himself over 1,000 yards. Zach Charbonnet against the Carolina Panthers. He has a bunch of big runs and a big game for himself, his best game of the season. And then together against the San Francisco 49ers, these two ran a roughshod over that 49ers defense. And they were the big reason why the Seahawks didn't have to lean on the passing game at all, because they knew they could just run the football, and we were going to win that football game. I think the addition of Charles Cross is worth 2 points. Now, what do I mean by that? When most players that are not quarterbacks get to return to a team from injury, you can look at Vegas and they will award them a certain amount of points because that is how much they are worth to their team. Cross, I think, is going to be worth 2 points, and that is much more than what most offensive linemen are worth because of what he can open up on this ground game. What we've also seen is when Sam Darnold is able to stand upright in a pocket and feel safe and feel comfortable, he has been his best self. You cannot tell me that he will not be the best version of himself with Charles Cross back, making sure that he keeps opposing defensive ends off of him. There is not a defensive end right now in San Francisco that worries me getting to Sam Darnold. That means that he can just kind of sit back, find who he wants to throw the football to, and pick this defense apart. Cross has been fantastic this season and will be fantastic in his return this Saturday, which I am predicting. Next, I do need to ask you, did the Seahawks get the best possible news on a Monday? Now, obviously, this is much more of a prediction and an expectation. There is still the possibility that both Coby Bryant, Charles Cross, or one, right, will end up tweaking an injury and not being able to play. We've seen that happen with Devin Witherspoon in practice, with Julian Love, and that's why Torrey Horton hasn't been seen since basically the middle of the season. There is the possibility that that can happen. But right now, with the expectation of those two to play, is it the best possible news for the Seattle Seahawks? Let me know down below in the comment section, yes or no. Yes, it is. If you say no, you're just wrong. Next, we're going to dive into the Coby Bryant injury news, what I expect out of him, and do I expect to see Ty Okada get a little bit of extra run for this squad. But before I do that, I need to talk more about myself and the vacations that I'm planning and how Rocket Money is helping me set aside some extra money and budget for those vacations. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money is helping me track my subscriptions, and what do you know? We found together, Rocket Money and myself, that I was actually double paying for a couple of streaming services. Rocket Money helped me find those double payments and cancel those extra subscriptions to save myself some money. Then I was able to use Rocket Money to help set up a budget for the vacations that I am planning on taking. I took that money that I saved from the canceled subscriptions, placed it in there, and Rocket Money is also helping me set some spending goals for each month. Now, each month, I'm saving a little bit of extra money on the side in preparation for those trips, combining that into one big budget for myself, allowing me the opportunity to have as much fun as possible on my trips. Let Rocket Money help you reach your financial goals faster. Join at rocketmoney.com/SeahawksChat. That's rocketmoney.com/SeahawksChat. rocketmoney.com/SeahawksChat. Now we're going to take a closer look at Coby Bryant. The safety had a coming out season, in my personal opinion. He went from the Robin to Julian Love's Batman to being able to stand on his own 2 feet. Maybe he's a Nightwing guy now. For those of you who don't know, I think I did that metaphor there correctly. Coby Bryant was fantastic this year. Obviously ended up going down with a knee injury against the Los Angeles Rams. But as we look at his stats on the season, he was one of the top leaders for the Seahawks in tackles before his injury. One of the top guys in interceptions. In fact, I believe he was the top guy until Ernest Jones passed him up when he got his interception. Coby Bryant has also done a fantastic job of adding himself into the running game and making tackles for a loss. He was a guy who started out his career playing mostly in the slot for the Seahawks. Now that he transitions into that deep end safety position, we've really seen Coby Bryant flourish and grow into one of the key defenders on this defense. Now, I still expect, no matter what happens with Coby Bryant, I still expect Ty Okada to get some run. We saw this when Julian Love came back against the Atlanta Falcons. Ty Okada was still out on the field for the Seattle Seahawks, and those types of things happen, right? As much as I want Coby Bryant to be ready to go and to play as much as humanly possible, that doesn't necessarily mean that the Seahawks are at their best with him only out on the field. Ty Okada went from a player who early on against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, frankly, I did not trust. I did not feel like he was in the right position when balls were thrown at players that he was defending. I did not feel like he was making sound tackles early on. And frankly, I felt like he wasn't communicating with the other secondary players for this team incredibly well. There was a lot of miscommunication. Ty Okada throughout the year has quickly come in and been able to regain my trust. When you look at the tackles that he has now on the season, he's one of the top guys filling in for both Julian Love and for Coby Bryant. Again, not afraid to play downhill. He doesn't miss tackles in the open field anymore. His interception this year was a fantastic play, and frankly, I wouldn't be shocked if he got another one or two in this postseason. Ty Okada has played incredibly well for the Seattle Seahawks, and I've been very impressed with the growth that he has made and continues to make for this Seahawks squad. I think that he will continue to play, and he will be more of a rotational guy. He will be that third guy for this Seahawks squad, but I do expect him to give it a go. That being said, I can't wait to have Coby Bryant back out on the field. Let me know who you got for this matchup down below in the comment section. Type C for the Seahawks, type SF for the San Francisco 49ers. I better see a whole lot more C's than I see San Francisco 49ers. And last time, make sure that you come on in and hit that sub button. We are in a battle with the 49ers report right now. Do not let us lose in this matchup here at Chat Sports. Make sure that you come on in and you hit that sub button. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see y'all next time.